Greetings! My name is Peter Davidson. On the 1st of October, I launched a daring crowdfunding campaign. I asked over 30 companies directly relying on my open source work to split a rather modest bill, allowing me to exclusively focus for at least a year on several key parts of the Perl 5 library repository, CPAN. 2 months later, after a really promising start, the campaign is effectively dead. I made multiple mistakes in the early stages, but on reflection there was one overriding problem. The narrative was severely out of focus. I tried so hard to put myself in the shoes of a potential sponsor and focused so much on justification and individual deliverables that I omitted the very reason for my actions, the very mission, so to speak, for which I gathered the courage to seek funding. Nor did I make it explicitly clear that presently I am one of the very few, if not the only heavyweight maintainer pushing for serious cultural change within Perl 5's inner circle. You see, for quite some time the main export of the Republic of Perl has not been the rather clunky language itself, or its promise of Team Toady and Whipuptitude, nor its aging libraries, nor, heaven forbid, its community culture. In today's actual real world, Perl 5's only advantages, placing it light years ahead of the alternatives, are its stability and ubiquity. Over the past year or so, it became painfully clear to me that the current course collectively taken by many central stakeholders threatens the ecosystem unlike anything I have seen before. It became painfully clear that without confronting and reversing this trend, any and all work I do within Perl 5 is a waste of what little skill and talent I possess. It became clear that the stream of compromises and half measures is no longer sustainable. Earlier this year, I dedicated a scary amount of time getting the most prominent technical contributors to address some of the most pressing issues. My efforts fell embarrassingly short. At present, the only remaining thing to try is eradication by example. By gathering everything I know about inefficiencies during installation, compilation and runtime, and putting together a secondary minimalistic dependency chain for a major project. By painstakingly measuring and documenting every point where current CPAN offerings fall short, and in the end, by doing the thankless, soul-crushing legwork of engaging with often outright malicious maintainers, forcing their hand to incorporate the sorely needed fixes to our fundamentals. I believe that such a targeted effort has a small but tangible chance of reversing the change at any cost mentality currently raging at the lowest levels of CPAN. This is a massive undertaking with a time to a minimal viable product of at least 4 to 6 months. I lack this time, or more precisely the funds to survive while working on this. But more importantly, I lack the user-based mandate, a mandate to steer the core Perl 5 technical community even more forcefully towards solving problems it explicitly marginalized. I tried to secure both missing pieces via this campaign by targeting who I believed will benefit most: lead engineers at large companies. I gambled that their frustration with our ridiculously over-engineered library commons, combined with a hefty list of promised new features, would make the tilt a dead easy sell within a company. So far, only 2 such large enterprises answered this call to arms, accounting for just 8,000 of the nearly 30,000 pledged to date. The rest was contributed by 2 relatively small consultancies, Henry, Andrew, a special thank you, and by over 40 individual developers, my friends and peers. These numbers are really troubling, most notably the surprisingly small portion of corporate pledges. By now, it is clear that the campaign completely missed its target audience. I cannot blame my peers for not recognizing the dire situation we're in. Similar to the sorry state of the web as a whole, things went downhill so far and so fast that the mere memories of better experiences as recent as 3 or 4 years ago seem like science fiction. If anything, the fault is mine for acting too late. With all of the above in mind, it is time to move on. I'm suspending all future effort on this crowdfund and instead will use the very little remaining free time on one last set of releases of DBX class and the underlying SQL abstract and SQL translator. The Tilt campaign itself will remain open in case there is an unlikely appearance of an angel donor. I am, however, changing the deadline to the 25th of December so that all refunds take place in the same calendar year. In 3 weeks, on Christmas morning, I will effectively leave CPAN. I will transfer my first CAM permissions to Perl developers of my choosing and will relinquish all commands I hold across pods. Partially, I want to do this for the psychological comfort of a clean break, but an equally important practical aspect is protecting the quality of the libraries from any conflict of interest with future employers. Of course, this only serves to remove me personally as a quality attack vector and does nothing to protect the user base from my successor. Sadly, the ecosystem does not yet offer a mechanism to mitigate this. I sincerely thank everyone who supported me, even before I got my own thoughts straight. I really wish I were a better bet. Thank you.